In fashion terms, Paris is haute couture, London is a byword for extravagance, and Milan and New York are where the business happens. So what then about Berlin, 30 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall? The separation of East and West drew a very real wedge between friends and family, while reunification came with its own host of challenges. A socio-economic context that helped Berlin to become a hotbed of countercultural expression. But is that still the case? And how do Berliners remember that momentous time?
We had relatives in the West, actually, and like once a year, around Christmas, there was a package, a gift coming, and it was often filled not just with sweets, with chocolate or coffee, but also with worn-out clothes. And even these worn-out clothes were amazing for us to have in the family. But with the wall that came down and having the choice and the freedom to go for what you really want and like, that was amazing. Yeah.
West Berliners and East Berliners could finally come face to face.
I had a friend in the East who used to hide herself behind her clothes. That's the impression I got. She didn't show off her body, it was all oversized, the colors were muted. I was shocked the first time I saw her wearing head-to-toe red.
At the Atelier Chardon-Savart Fashion School, in the once alternative area of Kreuzberg, history lessons have a prominent place in the syllabus. Just take a look at these fashion photos that appeared in the East German women's magazine Sibylle in the 1960s. They reveal an attempt to seize some sartorial individuality within a tightly controlled creative landscape.
It's completely the opposite of what we might imagine from that time. The photographers were very much into provocation. What we see here are women wanting to differentiate themselves from everyone else. And they're in front of these classic Soviet buildings to accentuate that contrast. There's this desire to break free, but they can't. They're boxed in.
Staying in Kreuzberg, we meet journalist Melissa Dreyer. She left New York for Berlin in 1985.
I've been talking to a lot of people from the East and from the fashion industry to just say, okay, is this how I see it, or is this really so? Was there nothing to save? And most people said, no, there really was nothing.
Need some proof?
This I love. This is my DDR grandma bag. Victoria Beckham did almost the exact same shape. It was in beautiful leather. It cost 1,800 euros, and I think this cost me 25. But feel it, it's disgusting. It's just, you don't really want to look in it. You don't, it's plastic. It's not very good. And it weighs a ton, but it weighs, if you put something in it. But it's really good. If you're in trouble, you can beat someone with it.
So is there such a thing as Berlin style?
There's a Berlin look, but it's not even just décontracté. It's what I call the I don't care school of fashion. People just put stuff on.
Vintage shops abound in Berlin. Here in the popular Karl-Marx-Straße is Humana, a veritable emporium of second-hand clothes. For just a few euros, you can get yourself kitted out head to toe by Soviet textiles giant VEB. Urban Spree was set up by two Frenchmen back in 2007. It's a multidisciplinary space dedicated to urban art in all its forms. A collectivist make-do-and-mend spirit reigns supreme.
It just makes sense. We see what we have and we make do with it. We borrow things. There's a real sense of solidarity in this complex. There's definitely something out of that East German collectivist culture where people used to help each other. You need something, you head over to your neighbors. You borrow, you don't buy.
Berlin is without doubt a cultural melting pot. In this calm street lies a studio that belongs to two young Swiss designers, Christa Bersch and Cosima Gradient. They've created a luxury ready-to-wear label that prioritizes experimentation with fabric.
It's quite a big labor to achieve this, but because it's so many layers of fabrics, and we treat them with acid, and we cut them, and then we wash it, and then we put another acid layer on top. So we create like this very fun structure. It's very beautiful, but maybe also a bit irritating at the same time. So it's both things.
And lastly, on to Berlin's vibrant youth scene. Katharina left home at 15 and arrived in Berlin at 17. Now 19 years old, how does she see her future?
I have no idea. I used to have a plan what to do with my life, but ever since I moved to Berlin, everything just changed a lot. And I do a lot of different things. I make films, for example, as well, next to uni. I'm still gonna study for 2 more years, so enough time to figure out what I want to do with my life exactly.
Katharina's restless creativity is mirrored by a city that's continually reinventing itself. Once the epicenter of urban counterculture, Berlin is now a hub of diversity.